In this video, I'll be discussing here the two snowstorms that will be occurring here between now and tomorrow here. One's going to bring some really heavy snow across portions of the western plains and Rockies, and then we may see a record-breaking nor'easter bring in possibly over 2 feet of snow across portions of those higher elevations. Again, seeing some pretty good snow across portions of the Rockies and plains, and some really high amounts of snow, possibly nearly 30 inches of snow there across portions of New England. But without further ado, let's get in the video. So here's looking at what we're going to be seeing here with this snowstorm right now. The first snowstorm we're going to be looking at is actually one that's happening right now across portions of the western plains, including areas such as Wyoming, Colorado, and as well including portions of the Midwest like South Dakota and portions of Nebraska. And so it's going to gradually become a lot heavier and a lot more widespread as we go in the overnight hours. So again, here's a look here as we go in the next few hours here, getting into around, I believe this is going to be around 5:45 Central Time here. There you see that snow's going to get gradually a lot heavier across portions of western Nebraska, portions of southwestern South Dakota, and with the cold air but a little bit drier atmosphere, we will still have some scattered snow showers across the Rockies down to Montana, but the main system where that low pressure is going to be across portions of northeastern and north central Colorado, eastern and eastern Wyoming, and portions of the west from South Dakota and Nebraska. It's going to continue now as we get within the next 5 hours or so. That's going to become a lot more widespread, like I did say, across portions now areas like Scotts Bluff, Nebraska, bringing some heavy snow near Rapid City, and even getting some really heavy snow towards areas like Colorado, such as Denver. So we're using, like I did say, very heavy snow. We could see some whiteout conditions in some scattered areas if the snow is that heavy. We may even see a few inches per hour, but we're not in the next 7 hours here. Getting into now around very late at this time, that snow's gonna pick up for areas like Colorado Springs. It's gonna start picking up there for Denver, and it's really widespread snow across northeastern Colorado, and that's gonna start picking up there near not too far from North Platte. It's gonna continue to pick up there for areas like Scotts Bluff and western Nebraska, but that snow will kind of slowly die off from Rapid City there once we get into the late overnight hours. As we now get within now deep overnight here on the next 10 and a half hours, basically, that snow is going to continue to move towards the east here. I'm going to bring some really heavy snow as that cold front does move with this low pressure across areas like northwestern Kansas, against southwestern and western Nebraska. So the heaviest snow not going to be hitting areas like now to areas like North Platte, now moving to areas in northwestern Kansas, and so bringing some really heavy snow across portions of the north central and northeastern Colorado as we now get in the next 12 and a half hours here. So basically at this time, but tomorrow morning, that's now going to go all the way into areas like central Nebraska. Very widespread snow against this will last at least for the next 12 hours. And as we go later on here within the next 13 and a half hours, or 13, nearly 14 hours, it's going to continue bringing some really heavy snow across the central Nebraska, there, western Nebraska. At this point, by tomorrow, mid morning here, it will start to taper off across areas like Denver and Colorado Springs, but still bring some scattered snow showers to the north there. But the heavy snow now going to be making its way towards central Nebraska there, heavy snow near Valentine. The snow will continue to pick back up across Rapid City there, so we'll get a bigger wave of moisture, so we can start seeing some more snow there. So the snow will kind of taper off on and off in areas like western South Dakota. It will taper on and off in areas like Colorado and Colorado Springs, but it's going to be really heavy across northeastern Colorado, northwestern Kansas, central, western, and southwestern Nebraska here between now and next few hours. But let's actually now go all the way up into actually, if we can get to it, the Nan 3 kilometer model, that'd actually be great. So let's actually get a whole look at the snowstorm in general here. So let me actually move my screen a little bit like that. So you can kind of see as we get the next 14 hours there, 15 hours, it's still going to bring some really heavy snow again tomorrow, even as late as noon across areas like Nebraska, again tapering off across northwestern Kansas, still bringing some scattered snow showers there as far as North Dakota there, Montana, as we will have some little moisture in that region here, but it's going to be so darn cold that whatever does come down will be snow there. But like I did say, the main snow will be across areas like western Nebraska, northeastern Colorado, even portions of Wyoming, and then it will kind of fall apart by tomorrow evening. But let's now go get ahead look here at the north or the New England snowstorm here. Again, it's going to be a pretty intense and actually pretty rare nor'easter that we're going to be seeing here. It's not rare that's going to bring in snow, but it's rare because the amount of snow we're going to be seeing here within a small time frame. So As we get the next 2 hours or so, that snow's going to start popping up now across portions of central and upstate New York here in those higher elevations. So right now, we're seeing really intense rainfall, specifically across the tri-state area there. Seeing some really intense rainfall. But again, these areas really are going to be seeing, at least now, we're going to be seeing above freezing here. But as we now get later into the evening hours here, like I said, the next 2-3 hours, that's just going to start becoming a lot more widespread across portions of upstate New York. Some scattered snow starts developing central Vermont as well as south central New York. That's going to be those very high elevations. We'll start to get that snow here within the next few hours. As you know, in the next 5 or 6 hours, that snow is going to start becoming a lot more widespread now across much of the Adirondacks there. Very widespread snow across the crest of Vermont and getting to western Vermont, but still going to be seeing some really heavy snow, specifically for the areas outside that snow, kind of the foothills or the coastal areas like Boston, New York. You guys are going to get pounded by the rain in the next few hours here, but I think the next really 8-9 hours here, that's going to start becoming a bit more widespread outside of the mountainous regions, like in areas like west central Massachusetts near Worcester. It's going to start getting some really heavy snow. But in areas where this is going to be the areas where we're going to be seeing the constant amount of snow, just without a doubt, just constant snow across areas like Vermont and upstate New York, because you guys are so high in elevation wise. You guys are going to start getting the first snow, and you guys get the last snow. So it's even gonna get snow for possibly 24 straight hours for some of these areas here, which is why we're talking possibly 2 to 3 feet of snow within this nor'easter. As we get the next 12 hours here, this can become a lot more widespread again by tomorrow around this time here. Very widespread snow across New England here. Very widespread, getting as far south as northern Rhode Island. That brings some snow like areas like New Worcester. Some really heavy snow in the areas like Pittsfield, Massachusetts there. In general, some really heavy snow across Adirondack, and as well, very heavy snow across much of New England here. Still going to be seeing possibly some flooding threats for coastal areas like coastal New England, specifically Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, where we're seeing the heaviest rain. But as we now get even past beyond the next 12 hours, getting to the next 13 hours here, this snow is going to just continue to become a lot more widespread. Now getting into central Connecticut, bringing some widespread snow in areas possibly near Hartford, maybe as far south as Providence. Very heavy snow across much of western and central Massachusetts there. Heavy snow across much of Vermont. Heavy snow across areas like New Hampshire, specifically the southern portion of the state there. But again, as we now get as far as the next 14 and a half hours, this is again by tomorrow morning here, still talking some really widespread snowfall. But let's go ahead and check a look now at the NAM here, see what they have by the time we end the HRR. So the next 15, 16 hours there, you can still see that snow becoming very widespread across New England there, bringing some intense snow now to portions of Maine as low pressure does make its way up the coast here. Still going to start seeing some snow there across Connecticut, Massachusetts there, but it will start tapering off by late tomorrow morning here. But then it'll come back as this low pressure kind of loops around here. So it's going to get a little bit closer to areas like Cape Cod. It's going to kind of loop around to the west here. So it's going to push that snow a little bit more to the west. We've already seen that quite often here. And these early snowstorms in November, December, we kind of saw that across Ohio Valley. And it's going to push that snow additionally now back into Connecticut, back into Rhode Island, back into much of western Massachusetts here. So as the snow finally moves out, basically it's finally tapering off as it kind of goes to the north now, finally tapering off. It moves back to the west, and that's exactly why we're seeing so much snow with this storm, because it's going to be a little bit of a slow mover here. You can kind of see it's not going to be that fast of a moving system here. You can kind of see right now it's going to be just sticking around these same areas here, snow across these same areas here, at least for the next 20 to 30 hours here. As we now get into tomorrow night here, still seeing some really widespread snow across even coastal Maine there, coastal Massachusetts, even coastal Rhode Island may see some snow. So if you live in Newport, if you live in areas like possibly New Haven, not New Haven, in areas like Boston, and areas near Portland, Maine, there you guys could expect maybe some few snow showers here tomorrow afternoon, even tomorrow evening here. So gonna be seeing some snow as far as coastal areas in mid-May or mid-April here. So again, that's actually not the common, that's actually not the rare part of the storm. But again, usually typically with nor'easters this far late in the season, you don't really see that much accumulation on the coastal areas. Really uncommon, and if so, it will be like a trace or so. And we're gonna be seeing some widespread showers, snow showers across Boston, and even as far as coastal Rhode Island. So a little bit of a weird fact that it's going so far south, the snow accumulation here. But let's go ahead and look at the snow accumulation here for this central, kind of like rocky slash midwestern snowstorm here. They can start bringing in some heavy snow as early as right now. Like it's been going on for the past few hours here. So this is going to be the main area for the next, for the rest of the snowstorm, basically across northwestern Kansas, west central Nebraska, and just western in general, and as well, of course, north central and northeastern Colorado. But this only goes 15 hours out, so this is not the whole storm. This is just as early, or this goes as far out as 6 a.m. tomorrow morning here in the area. We're gonna be seeing the hot spot at least for the next 15 hours snowfall accumulation wise. Will be northeastern Colorado here, possibly up to 13 inches. So already getting over a foot here within the next 15 hours here. So basically seeing just under an inch per hour across northeastern Colorado, which is exactly where I said we'll be seeing the heaviest snow, or some of the heaviest snow. This is going to be where we'll be seeing the heaviest snow across northwestern or actually this whole area is going to be kind of seeing the heaviest snow across, at least for the rest of the snowstorm. But again, the next 15 hours can be seeing some additional 3+ inches within the circle here, most likely there. So including areas like Scottsbluff, some pretty good snow near North Platte. That's going to be later tomorrow morning here. Some pretty good snow there for Colorado and Colorado Springs. You guys, or actually Denver, you guys may actually get possibly 8 inches of snow. Colorado Springs may get maybe 3 to 5 inches. So be seeing some really good snow there across Colorado there. Specifically, the kind of just outside the main Rockies, kind of little foothills there. Here are the main Rockies here. It's going to kind of just stick out the main Rockies. Some pretty good snow near Cheyenne, possibly 3 to 4 inches there. Maybe some good snow, maybe an inch or so, possibly across the area like Rapid City. That's partly because how it's going to be tapering on and off. But this is where we're seeing that constant snow. But let's go ahead and look at the Nantherow kilometer, since this does go, I believe, 60 hours out. So this is kind of the whole covered on this whole storm. You can kind of see a big difference. So as we go through the whole storm, we're seeing a lot more snow for areas like northwestern Kansas, central Nebraska. So this is kind of the whole story here. So we're going to be seeing a lot more snow for some areas as we go further out into the whole system. So getting up to 22 inches, but that'll be kind of more into the main Rockies. So some nice ski resorts possibly. But looking at similar totals there for Denver, getting up to around 8 inches or so. Colorado Springs may actually get near a foot according to the NAM. Similar totals there for Cheyenne, up to maybe around 1 to 3 inches there in Rapid City. Some scattered snow showers as far as up in North Dakota there, Montana, as a result of that very widespread cold air. But still, northwestern Kansas, southwestern Nebraska, and northeastern Colorado, you guys can get hit the hardest with the snow here. Possibly northwestern Kansas and northeastern Colorado can possibly see anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snowfall, maybe even a foot in some scattered areas. And then getting up to possibly 5 to 9 inches there across areas like central Nebraska, including North Platte. And we could see a few scattered snow showers just going as far south into kind of nearly into southeastern Nebraska there. So it's going to be kind of moving pretty far south there. But let's now go look at the northeast here. Snowfall totals here to look at the HRRR. So this only goes, it's actually the whole run 18 hours out. And you kind of see a ton of snow just within 18 hours across New England here. You can kind of see some scattered lake effect snow as a result of that cold front. And it's kind of in place right here right now. But as we now go the next few hours, of course, we will try to see some below freezing temperatures popping up, resulting in some snow there across central Nebraska, or not central Nebraska, but central New York there. But look at that, you can kind of see that heaviest snow kind of sticking around within basically 4 or 5 states there, or sorry, 4 states basically: New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, and you can kind of add, I guess, the fifth state, including Connecticut and Rhode Island. So the 3 hardest hit states is definitely the main New England states, I guess you could say that: Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts, and then possibly just 5. You can add, of course, 2 more, including Connecticut and Rhode Island. You can just kind of see a trend there, kind of within a specific region here. That's because that's going to be the same area we're going to be seeing that constant snowfall because of that low pressure kind of looping back to the west or like that. It's going to just bring that constant snow across these areas here. So we could see some good snow there, possibly have a foot there across the Adirondacks, and possibly over half foot off Lake Huron, or starting off Lake Erie. But really the hot spot for this main storm will be including mainly just much of the central New England region here. So looking at possibly over 1 to 2, possibly 1 to maybe even 14 inches there within the storm, at least for the next 18 hours. Again, it's going to be lasting as late as 30 hours. So it's going to be a pretty long storm here. Like I said, it's going to be kind of a little bit of a slow mover. Typically with these April nor'easters, you see them moving very quickly here. Possibly like 12 to 20 hours of snow, but it's going to bring it over 30. So seeing some really good snow there Like I did say, get some snow accumulation as far as the coast. They're getting maybe a trace there near areas like Newport. Gonna get possibly there nearly a foot near Worcester, western and central Massachusetts. They're gonna get hammered by the storm here. Pittsfield, Worcester, like I did say, you guys can possibly get over half a foot. Northeastern Connecticut may get possibly over 5 to 8 inches of snowfall, and going to be seeing a similar scenario there for north central Rhode Island. So we're going to be seeing a big difference. If you live in north central or far northern Rhode Island, you may get possibly over half a foot. But if you live in the coastal area, again, you maybe trace to nothing possibly again. Really good snow there as well for the upper elevations there in Vermont and New Hampshire. But let's actually look at the NAM 3 kilometer, which gives us the whole story. And you guys see a big difference now, 35.4 inches. So nearly 3 feet of snow. And you can kind of see it's a lot more widespread here, kind of across now Maine. So Maine, you guys are not added in this hotspot because you guys are going to get affected kind of later into tomorrow night. So you can see some really heavy snow. Look at that, even some more accumulation there into southeastern Massachusetts there. So that's not too common really with these nor'easters at this time of the year. But these snowball totals are also not as common. Really, typically with these late April nor'easters, you kind of struggle to get maybe even a foot. But here we're getting up to 30 plus into the snowfall, specifically, of course, near Mount Washington, upstate Vermont, and some really good snow across the crest of Vermont and the crest of New Hampshire. But let's go ahead and look at some cities there. Some really heavy snow again. Maybe you can get maybe half an inch or an inch there near Hartford. May get possibly up to maybe 5 to 10 inches there near Pittsfield. Possibly maybe 12 to 15 inches there near Worcester, across central Massachusetts. Some really good snow in areas just outside the Burlington area. Some pretty good snow there across much of central Vermont, from the south central to the north central, up the whole crest there in those higher elevations, gonna get over a foot. Some pretty good snow there near the Concord area, possibly 6 to maybe 12 inches. Berlin, similar scenario, maybe get up to 8 to 12 inches. And in areas near south central New Hampshire may get 19.4 inches, and some really heavy snow just going along the whole Maine coast here. And again, with these typical nor'easters in April, you might see the heaviest snow maybe far western Maine, but this time we're going to be seeing kind of more a coastal event once you get towards New England, as that cold front kind of deepens a little bit more here. So if this were to happen, I guess, tomorrow night, we may see some snow as far as Long Island, maybe even tri-state area, because that cold temperature will be there below freezing by that time. But as it is obviously not 2 days later, it's going to come right now, more as early as the next few hours. It's going to bring in kind of more snow in those higher elevations. And of course, by the time this cold front does reach the coastal regions, that low pressure will be just in place there. And that's going to be as a result of that low pressure kind of halting back as it goes westward, giving a lot more time before it moves to the northeast here across Maine, giving a lot more time for this cold front to catch up. That's exactly why I may see up to a foot on the coast there, just outside Portland there. It's pretty good snow there near Bangor, possibly 3 to 5 inches. And then it's going to carry on into portions of Canada. But it's really, really interesting here. Look at these areas. Keep a close eye. Seeing possibly 30 inches there near Mount Washington, and widespread 19 to 20 inches there across New Hampshire and Vermont. But this is the amount of snow we've had within the past 30 days. I mean, look at this. This is the past 30 days that we've seen. So going all the way back to 16th of March. The 16th of March into the 15th of April. You can kind of see a lot of these areas where we've seen the bullseye. Let's go ahead and look at these areas. You can kind of see a lot of these areas where we've seen the bullseye for this, or actually, let me do that again. We're seeing the bullseye for this storm here. You can kind of see the bullseye right here. All these areas have really seen very little to no snow within the past month. And obviously, there's a lot greater chance of seeing more intense snow like this, obviously, as we get closer to the dead of winter than late March, than in mid-April. So it's kind of showing you we're going to be seeing up to 19 inches of snow for some areas that have not gone maybe even more than a trace within the past month. So really interesting here. Obviously, some scattered areas in northern Vermont and northern New Hampshire have gone up to near half foot, but obviously that's pretty common. There's some scattered snow showers. And even look at coastal Maine here. This is the really interesting one here. You can see coastal Maine, nothing, of course. That's obviously normal, and then getting possibly up to near a foot into the southeastern portion of the state there. You kind of see we've seen up to a foot there for the past month in northern Maine. Almost nothing with this storm, so it's kind of the completely opposite. Areas that have been getting a ton of snow within the past month or so are getting nothing, and areas that are getting hammered with this storm have gone nothing the past month. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys later.